Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
It's November.
November. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Rolling into winter here in Montana.
Yeah. We are actually, as usual, on the last days of October, and we're coming up on some cold weather.
Like lows of 7 and several inches of snow starting tomorrow.
So that's why we're out here today, to show you what it looks like here in late October, and to talk to you about our November update.
November update, where we thought we'd focus on freedom.
Yeah, freedom is, and really the paradox of freedom and the way the natural world teaches us about freedom. And what we were just talking about is a perfect example of that. Everything that you see around us, including us, but especially the things you see around us, are about to be in a really different situation. It's already been different. They're golden and green, they're turning into the autumn thing, they're getting it, that stuff's changing, but boom, it's gonna happen really fast in the next few days. That doesn't seem like freedom. It seems like all of this is completely at the mercy of the weather, and you know what? It is. So where's the freedom? The freedom for me, is in watching the natural world be in the present moment, be in the reality of what's happening right now. There's great freedom in that, and we'll elaborate on that some.
Yeah, that being in the present moment is something that ecologists and some biologists refer to as compliance. The individual organisms and the community that makes up the ecology is always free within what the present moment brings. And I wonder, humans don't seem to be too open to the whole notion of compliance, that anything that restricts our kind of boundless vision of freedom has been hard for us to accept, it seems sometimes.
Well, I would modify that to say people, I would even modify it to say people in the dominant culture of the Western cultures, because I'm not confident about that across this. So the compliance thing, though, too, I think is different. Being compliant as a participant in the natural world, completely interdependent with the rest of the natural world, affords a freedom of having air and water and food and even shelter, even though sometimes the weather conditions are not that wonderful, and sometimes there is scarcity, especially at the end of winter, for example. But being compliant with that is different than being compliant with some arbitrary set of rules, say in your high school. Something that are things that are really about crowd control and not about the organic kind of realities within which you can be free. It is a paradox.
It is, and I think I can see it most clearly with something like climate change, or really any kind of environmental situation. You really have in America, if you've got enough money and power, and you can do it in ways that don't raise too much attention, you can pollute the heck out of a river, and the people who live downstream are going to have some of their freedom to have good health, compromised.
Right.
So we have to engage in these conversations about, what is this behavior doing, not just for ourselves, but what is it doing for the community? And time after time we come back to that notion of interdependence, and this is yet again another opportunity to bring that up.
And so I suppose we should avoid anthropomorphism, which is its own interesting conversation, because we are the natural world. And so there are ways, in fact, you say all the time that the superpowers of the natural world are ours. And so that has a lot of guidance for us. And among this, we can't say that the grasses here that we're seeing around us are checking out things with, hey, I'm thinking about growing my roots another inch deeper. How do you feel about that? There's not that going on, but there is this sensitivity and sensibility that is, these are the conditions, these are my neighbors, this is what I do, And I do it in a way, and it's not a self-conscious thing, but each grass is doing what it does in collaboration with everything else in the ecosystem. And there's a freedom in that. And that's what we're trying to unpack a bit. What do we have to learn from that particular, that kind of freedom?
You know, I'm also thinking of large mammals, lions, elephants, and certainly wolves. Let's talk about wolves for a second. You know, their pack structure, which is led, they don't use the word alpha pair much anymore. They just say the breeding pair, leads the wolf pack. But on the other hand, in any given day, members of the pack can go off and have all the kind of freedom they want, but then they also comply with the needs of the pack by, when it's time to hunt, everybody does their part. When it's time to raise the young, everybody does their part. And we've said this before, but numerous Native American communities, including the Nez Perce and the Blackfeet,
and the Iroquois,
yes, pattern their culture, their government, if you will, on what they saw wolves doing. So they wanted to have some kind of leadership and wisdom from an elder source, but then they also wanted to give individual members of their kin and their tribes the freedom to go out and live life to some degree as they saw fit. And so that was their goal anyway, based on watching those wolves. So there is a freedom within that wolf pack. I remember also, before I get off the wolves, Doug Smith, who I worked with so much when the wolves were first introduced, he was the project director for over 20 years of the Yellowstone wolf reintroduction, would talk about the system itself, with the wolves coming back, having the freedom to sort of more fully, not entirely because the human touch is everywhere, but more fully live up to what the potential or the capacity of that system was. So he tends to think of integrity in an ecological system as whether or not it's not being messed with so much that fundamental traits of interdependence are being sacrificed.
Yeah, and I think that there is a conflation that happens in human sensibility of power with freedom. And so freedom can be curtailed by the assertion of power. And that's not, I mean, I suppose that happens in a wolf pack if somebody's way out of line, and to keep a pup from being harmed or something like that.
Right,
but the thing that we see in human community is that power is generally understood as power over. And there's no place really in the natural world. There are certainly predators. There's no doubt about that. And so I suppose that would be power over. But if you step out bigger into the way the ecosystem works and is balanced, and if we don't go to predators but look again back around here, what we see is that it's power with and power within. So there was a writer back in the, I don't know, late 80s named Starhawk. And she ran out this theory that we have choices in our, and we have this freedom of choice as humans in our social ecologies, between us as humans, within us as humans, and in the way that we interact with the natural world, I would suggest. And one of them is to assert power over. The other two are far more adaptive and far more free. You check that out for yourself. Power with and power within. So these grasses and trees and the water behind us and even the mountains themselves are practicing without consciousness, but practicing nonetheless. They're mirroring for us what power with and power within look like. And power over is not freedom. I would suggest, but don't believe me.
Yeah, and you know, even if a predator, a really strong, ferocious predator, wolves or lions, if they had the capacity to decide they were going to get into power over, and they killed all the prey, more than they needed, well then they are then soon the victims of their own overreach and will starve, as will their offspring. So it's interesting, nature is often, it seems, very much wired to not take essentially more than it needs to accomplish its life goals. And I wonder if humans are actually deep down wired to that as well, but
I bet we are.
we've sort of overcome that to our detriment.
Yeah, but the way that it's playing out, we're pretty lonely and we're pretty self and other destructive, and you know, it's not working well. And you know, when we do this and we speak with you from here, we know that we're speaking to people who understand and who are interested in more deeply understanding who are we as nature and what does that have to teach us about moving forward in this time that we call climate change and where we're seeing climate breakdown. You know, that's what we're on about, and that's a freedom. That is a quality of freedom that we have. So that's a lot of what we wanted. Oh, I did want to say, make the link back to, was it last month that we did patience?
I believe it was. Yes.
Yeah, that freedom is and patience are interesting to consider together. So patience is something that the natural world shows us all the time too, but it doesn't have the blessing and curse that we have of a frontal lobe so that we can make up stories about how the way this is going is not the way I want it to be going, and get caught in that and pull ourselves right out of presence. And we all do it. It's something that we're all recovering from, essentially. But patience will be something for us to consider a little further, maybe in our deep dive on the 14th of November. We have been delaying this for months, and we really have to tell you that we have no idea where we're going to be. But we're going to give it our best shot to find some Wi-Fi signal and be in touch with you on the 14th of November at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Who knows where we'll be? Our life has demanded patience. And so we're looking forward to seeing you again. We'll consider this freedom topic, and we may dive into patience. We'll see where we go. But we're looking forward to you. 14th of November at 6 o'clock. It's free. Come and chat with us. We will put that link in the newsletter. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter, please go to www.fullecology.com and subscribe, or be in touch with us
at connect@fullecology.com. And also, when you're on the website, check out the 2 retreats that we're going to be doing in the magnificent Centennial Valley next June, both a full ecology retreat as well as another writing and full ecology retreat, which was so enormously satisfying last summer, from the scenery down to the gift of being in a good, devoted community for 5 days, trying to help each other grow in whatever way we can. It was really satisfying, and we can't wait for the next round. So it's very limited enrollment, so check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, sign up now. Really, it's not too early. And be in touch with us with any questions. We love hearing from you anyway. So I think that's all that we have to say. We're looking forward to seeing you. Make sure and get on the newsletter so that you know how to tune in to this deep dive. And yeah, have a good, stay cozy. Some of you, if you're down in the southern states of the U.S. or in the other hemisphere, are going to either be warming up or being very slowly moving out of a pretty hot summer. But here it comes nonetheless.
Think of us getting out our snow shovels tomorrow.
Yes, we will be.
Yeah, send good thoughts.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
We'll see you next month.
Take care.
Bye for now.